So next, we have a great program on our Accent on Academics, and I'm going to let Dr. Shandor to share a little bit about our Accent on Academics presentation.
Thank you, Mr. Richardson. Good evening, board members. This month's Accent on Academics highlights a collaborative venture between Yorktown Elementary School and York River Academy. YRA students and staff integrated standards-based instruction in unique and creative ways to develop student-led learning experiences for Yorktown Elementary students. To share more about this presentation and introduce the students and other presenters is Ms. Kelly Denny, Principal, Yorktown Elementary School, and Mr. Walt Cross, York River Academy Principal.
Thank you. Mr. Richardson, board members, Dr. Shandor, and division staff and community members. Thank you for the opportunity to share this wonderful partnership that we've been able to develop. Dr. Shandor referred to the 5 C's that we're all coming to learn and love during our accreditation push. And so it's really exciting to be able to take those kind of things that kind of like guide us in what we want to accomplish and to put them in practice in real kind of ways. So we're able to take some things out of the classroom, be able to present students with a problem, with some challenges, and be able then to help guide them through to a wonderful product and service that we're going to share with you a little bit tonight. So it's my joy to be able to introduce to you Operation Grow Change, and I'm going to introduce our science teacher, whose idea, I think it was, she took it and has run with it, so Ms. Veronica Warwick.
Good evening. As Mr. Cross said, my name is Veronica Warwick, and I'm the science teacher at York River Academy. I wanted to start by thanking you all for having us here, and also thanking the team of students, teachers, and leaders that I've had the pleasure to work alongside, including those YRA Greenhouse members who are here tonight to show their support for us. Collaboration, creativity, and critical thinking, citizenship, and communication were integral components for the successful planning, organizing, and implementation of the YRA Greenhouse field trips with Yorktown Elementary School. Throughout this year, the YRA Greenhouse team has been working with elementary students in Miss Westland's science resource class. While there, our students would help set up and carry out lessons as well as learn how to work with elementary age students. They learned how to question students and what skills and knowledge they possess. Back in our classroom, Greenhouse members used the SOL curriculum frameworks to create hands-on and engaging activities. There was a great deal of problem-solving, creativity, and collaboration that went into the construction of the field trip lesson plans. Students worked together and helped each other modify activities and lessons to meet our overall goals. Ms. Norton and I acted as facilitators through this process, guiding them along in their journey and providing them real-world opportunities to learn about responsibility, pedagogy, and professionalism. This whole process has been a meaningful experience for our students that taught them the joys of teaching and patience for learning. Now I would like to introduce my partner in crime, co-teacher, and high school teacher of the year, Jamie Norton.
Hello, I am Jamie Norton, the CTE teacher at YRA. First, I would like to thank you for the opportunity to share this collaborative venture between YES and YRA. Last year, as we began the collaboration process with Yorktown Elementary School, the main question I sought to answer was, how can we use this opportunity to better prepare our students to enter the workforce and be successful in their chosen careers? As an educator, I know the technical skills and concepts can be learned and measured. However, the same cannot be said for soft skills required for a successful career. These skills require practice, and students must take ownership of their learning to master. Our students research standards of learning, communicate with YRA and YES teachers for advice and direction, and then create, practice, and implement lesson plans for kindergarten, 1st, and 5th grades. In preparing for the elementary field trips, our students must work as a cohesive team with strong work ethic, offering constructive feedback throughout the process. Students also learn to think creatively and critically, solve problems as they arise, and effectively manage time to meet deadlines. Throughout this process, we actively discuss and provide feedback for improvement of the 21 workplace readiness skills the VDOE has defined. It is with great pleasure that I introduce team leader for the Greenhouse Project, Keanu Mullins.
Hello and thank you. I'm Keanu Mullins, a team leader of the YRA Greenhouse Project. As a team leader, I oversee the planning and making of the lesson plans for our field trips. We realized that in order to develop successful activities for the kids, we needed to first establish a base of what we wanted the experience to be like, while keeping in mind that not every kid learns the same. For instance, a 5th grader isn't going to learn the same way as a kindergartner, and vice versa. This started the research process in which 7 greenhouse students found the necessary SOL objectives that needed to be covered in our activities for each grade level. We also write about how to use academic language correctly for each grade level, like what words are strong points and which ones would be too hard for them, and then finding a good medium. From there, we all brainstormed a multitude of fun, hands-on, and interactive activities that would give the York Elementary School students an engaging adventure that they could then apply to their end-of-the-year testing. After writing field trip proposal forms and presenting them to the class, the ideas were narrowed down and we started building the lesson plans. I really enjoyed collaborating with my classmates, generating new ideas, and figuring out how we can provide the necessary tools for success in these activities to ensure the best educational takeaway and experience for the YES kids. Being able to create lessons to help each grade level review the material made me understand how much a teacher impacts a student and their learning abilities. It was very eye-opening to me to work with different ages. I learned that making our activities hands-on and visually involving really catches their attention and makes the information stick, whether it was a 1st or a 5th grader. During the very first field trip that the greenhouse class hosted, there was this one student who really showed me the joys of teaching. At the end of the trip, one of the girls in my group hugged my leg, smiled up at me, called me the best teacher ever, and proceeded to say how much fun she had during the field trip. I realized how amazing it is to be in the position to help someone learn something new, and these events helped convince me to pursue a career in teaching. Now I'm enrolled in Longwood University as an English secondary education major, and I plan to go back to school to earn a master's degree in education. I would like to share this experience by showing a short video of the YRA and YES field trip for earlier this year for 5th grade, and after Ms. Barbara Westland will continue the presentation.
Endoplasmic reticulum, or call it ER. So what that does is, we're going to say that we have one that's scheduled. So we're going to get number 2. So what are the questions that I ask you in number 2?
Good evening. My name is Barbara Westland. I'm the science resource teacher at Yorktown Elementary. This has truly been an extraordinary experience for our students at YES. As Ms. Mullins explained, the students from YRA came over and co-taught with me in the science lab several times at each grade level in order to get a clear understanding of the cognitive level of the students they would be working with and get a really good idea of how to question those students and work with them in a productive way. The YRA students helped to create level-appropriate activities that were aligned with each grade's SOLs and really brought the plant life processes to life for those kids so that they could understand and retain that information. We have a couple of our YES students with us tonight that would like to tell you a little bit about their experiences. Aiden?
On my trip to RA, I remember having lots of fun. Learning about plants, I liked when we were beside the plants. And we played games to learn. We sorted pictures to learn about the parts of plants, like stems and leaves. I like when I get to learn about things in real life instead of just doing work at my desk. Visiting YRA helped me learn a lot about science. Next is AB.
My favorite part of our trip was making butterflies out of popsicle sticks that were painted. I like smelling the plants. One smelled pretty gross, but the other one smelled good like mint. I used to have a mint plant in my garden. We learned about seeds and apples and lemons. After we picked them out of the fruit, we matched them. I learned liked going on a field trip to learn science because I love science. I can't wait to learn more science at YRA on my field trip this week. Next is Nadia Warrior.
During our field trip to YRA, I got to experience learning firsthand, and it helped me understand better. I like that we got to see all the things that we were talking about in science, like food chains, and I started to make connections in my head. I moved to Yorktown Elementary this year, and I felt like the other kids had a head start in science. The field trip helped me gain the knowledge that I missed at the beginning of the year. My favorite part was when we got to play a game on the floor with food chains and niches. We got to make a diagram and then play a game based on what we had learned. I thought the greenhouse was really cool because I got to see some plants that I haven't seen before. Now I can recognize them on my own. Next is Jana Lee Rodriguez.
Visiting YRA was a good experience for me because I think it is better to experience things in person than on paper. It's more interactive. My favorite part of the field trip was when we went into the room with all of the microscopes. There were trays with cells and we got to see the cell in real life. The greenhouse was really nice for me because I'm interested in gardening. It was interesting to learn about how plants are unique and how to identify them. I learned that the green lighting actually helps plants grow. I thought it was cool for the YRA kids to teach the stations because they gave examples that we could relate to so we could understand better. Visiting YRA has helped me learn what I need to know for my Science SOL test, and it helped me understand things that are hard to learn from a book. Ms. Denny will share now.
Good evening, everyone. Without a doubt, this project has been one of the most engaging and rewarding experiences of my 20 years in education. At the foundation, our students benefited from real-world instruction that was strategically aligned to target science strands where data shows that we have the most opportunity for growth in our school. Our students explored science through hands-on activities, and the content was explained in a way that was easily understood by them. Beyond that, YRA and Yorktown Elementary have built a partnership that expanded the walls of our classrooms. York River Academy students inspired YES students to be excited about science by becoming experts in content and confidently sharing information in small groups. We're grateful for the opportunity to work with YRA and look forward to continuing our partnership for years to come. Thank you for allowing us to share this exciting partnership with you. And at this time, I just wanted to invite our students back up in case there were any questions.
So I'll ask the board if they want to start. I guess we'll start down at the end with you, Mr. Medford. Questions or comments?
This is just another one of those wow moments that are really bring it all together. The days a long time ago when, an elementary school or a middle school or even a high school did their own thing, and there there wasn't really a lot of connection between the schools, even though everything was in one district. One thing we're starting to see more and more of is this example right here, and that's where a high school, our York River Academy, has taken a project that's benefited their students so well, and now they're sharing it as a classroom experience for the young folks to maybe one day walk into and do something similar. So it's a fantastic opportunity, and I'm just proud to have them in my district. So I'm very happy.
Yeah.
Great presentation from all of you. Thank you.
And Mr. Anderson?
Yeah, so any chance I get to support YES, I take. So I got to visit YRA during this time. I think it was the first graders were up there when I was up there. I got to see Miss Mullins in action. The two gentlemen on the fourth row, the one sitting by the Teacher of the Year, could you stand? And the young man with the glasses, yes. Yeah. So when I went, they were teaching first graders herbs. They couldn't quite get them to understand the lemon balm, but they got there. But what was amazing was their patience with the first graders and the way the first graders paid attention, you know. And I got to tour the greenhouse, spent some quality time with Mr. Cross. To match Veronica's passion at YRA, whom I met, was Miss Mackenzie Zabicki from YES, who's a science teacher in the first grade. So, you know, I walked away from there just feeling good about the state of our education within YCSD, and I would like to see this as a blueprint to challenge the other high schools to do the same thing at some level. So kudos. I enjoyed spending time at your school. You guys were awesome, and I'm really happy that you're in our district. So that's great. Thank you.
Great. Ms. Hayward?
Not only in that district, in that school division, so you all can't claim them all. But it's a wonderful program. The interaction between the two schools is wonderful. Kudos to you. Much success in the future. And I want to know of the presenters of the Yorktown Elementary students, who's up for yard work this summer? Anybody gonna do yard work?
I'm gonna fall for that one.
Thank you. That was tremendous. I just can't tell you I think I have a special place in my heart for YRA and what Mr. Cross and your whole team has done. I just appreciate so much what you do there and your heart and passion that goes into that. And, you know, this is just an example of how people affect our lives and people are influences in our lives. Real often it's an older person, meaning YRA versus YES. You have no idea what impact you're having on these kids. I mean, you yourself, you're going to be a teacher now. I mean, but it's just, we can never underestimate the influence that we have on these kids. And I just think that's what makes the world go around, and that's what keeps things going. So thank you so much for everything you're doing.
And it's tough to go last because you've said all the right thing, all the things I wanted to say. I mean, you hit them on the head. And Mr. Medford, I think I do cover some district in York, and I go to Grafton, I go all the way to Tabb, so mine's kind of an all-encompassing district. But
thank you.
But
for
we're all
clarifying.
taking credit for this one because it's a great program. Really, I do remember when the greenhouse was purchased through some talks in finance and about them purchasing. I think it was through a grant funding. And then when I took my tour of YRA last year, I remember talking to Mr. Cross and, oh, you know, we're going to do this. We're going to have the elementary school kids come down. They were all excited about it and pumped up. And then I got to visit last week. And I visited when they were doing the kindergarten. Students were there. And boy, did they have some patience. But they did a phenomenal job. And to see teachers teaching students and then the students teaching the students. What a great program. So Kiana, Dr. Carroll, can you raise your hand? That's our HR director in case he wants to do an early contract, okay? Okay. But thank you. It's a great program. Continue the great work. Thank you so much.